Right, so MPs being patrons of charities, this is generally something they like to brag about, isn't it? Something they'll be very proud of, something of an endorsement for what they do. But one MP has recently resigned as a patron of an immigration charity, and the charity itself is delighted. Couldn't be happier. Well, come on then, Damo, who is it? Do tell. Which rancid Tory migrant basher is it? To which I must inform you, it's not one of the blue ones, but chief of the red ones. It's Keir Starmer. For the last 7 years, Starmer has been a patron of the Sante Refugee Mental Health Access Project, set up to help refugees and asylum seekers with additional needs, particularly those with mental health needs, lead independent lives and integrate into UK society once given leave to remain here, help them gain access to health services and other assistance they might need. Sterling work, great people. Can't imagine why anyone wouldn't want to be associated with that. However, Starmer's immigration stance has become completely incompatible with the charity's ethos, everything they stand for. And they've said they no longer wish for him to be associated with their charity because of Labour's stance these days on asylum, refugees and immigration. And that's not surprising when Starmer, who is the human form of Zolpidem with all the charisma of topsoil, consistently tries to out Tory the Tories. And when the Tories are the sort of people who dream about deportations, Starmer's tactic of leaning always ever further to the right than them, well, it's never going to be a good look, is it? So what is Labour's stance on all of this then, Damo? It's a novelty they even have a stance on something, really. But Starmer has discussed GPS tagging asylum seekers like criminals whilst their claims go through. And he has said that we have too many people from abroad working in the NHS. Massive shortages, and NHS staff have been striking over how unsafe the service is because of that. But Keith, he still thinks there's too many foreigners working there. Although he did say he'd quite like to see more of them working in factories. Yeah, and he lectures people on racism too. He's bleated about boosting the resources of the National Crime Agency to beat the people traffickers, when the easiest and cheapest way to beat them would be to put them out of business, and that would be to reintroduce a safe legal route to claim asylum here. But just like the Tories, he won't do it. Oh, and Nigel Farage has praised his stance by saying Labour was now to the right of the Tories on immigration, and it was great to see Labour adopting parts of the 2015 UKIP manifesto. People like me on the left can't stand this guy because he's a liar with all the integrity of an overdunked rich tea biscuit. He stood on 10 pledges to become Labour leader, all of which he broke, but one of these was specific to migration. He wanted to defend migrant rights, he said, and people believed him. And who wouldn't? This is the great human rights barrister, Sir Keir Starmer. Nobody thought that flashing ankle jewellery figured into his idea of what migrant rights would be, of course. Starmer's excuse is that he's resigning from the charity to concentrate on the next general election. He wrote, "As we get closer to a general election and my team are stepping up our work of preparing for government, I have had to conduct a review of all the formal roles that I hold in external organisations. As part of this work, I have taken the decision to resign from my patron positions. I have really enjoyed working with you over the years, and I'm very proud of the work that you have done to support refugees and asylum seekers in our community." Sante Refugee's response to this was hilarious. They said they weren't unhappy at all that he was gone. They actually thought the email from him was a joke. And they'd admitted they retired him years ago since he's not helped one iota, not done one single thing in the 7 years he'd been their patron, and they just hadn't been bothered to tell him. They even called him a bluffer. Instead of opposing the Tories, he's allowed them to drag Labour way to the right so that it's hard to tell which of the two parties is the more right-wing these days, though Nigel Farage certainly thinks Labour has the edge on migration. People fleeing whatever circumstances that have driven them to risk their lives to cross the channel any way they can in the hope of a better life should be treated with dignity and respect. It's how we would expect to be treated ourselves, isn't it? You'd expect a former human rights lawyer, though, to accept and recognise that. But Starmer is the sort of politician that just leaves you amazed at how one person can seemingly tear up literally anything they say from one moment to the next if they think they can gain some personal advantage from it. And you can never trust somebody like that. He's taken more positions than the Kama Sutra. He has more faces than a town clock, and he has lied so many times about so many things, he should have a nose longer than Concord's. I'm with the Sante Refugee Project. If you want him, you can have him. Because I bloody don't.